You are now watching Zach Lesage PTCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to Zach Lesage PTCG. I'm Zach Lesage, and today we're going to be going over my top 5-ish cards from BattleStyles. So, BattleStyles to me seems like the light at the end of a tunnel. Our format's been stale for a little bit because Vivid Voltage didn't add that much spice to our format in Standard, but I think BattleStyles is going to elevate our game a little bit, definitely making it a little bit more exciting, adding a few new archetypes. So I already did a video like this for Shining Fates. If you haven't got a chance to check it out, check it out. If you're looking for any of the codes for the set, go to ptcgostore.com, plug in code ZLesage5. So be sure to do that. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. This one's, I'm just excited to kind of roll and rant and go about the cards that I like in this set. So yeah, let me know if there's any cards that I missed, any cards that you're excited for in the comments below. I'll get back to all of your comments as soon as possible. As always, thank you for watching, and let's jump right into it. So starting off our list at number 5, decided to go with kind of two cards here. I know I said I'm doing a top 5, but I said top 5-ish, so give me that. Both Hound Doom and Octillery are very similar cards, both stage 1s. Ability on Hound Doom to start off. So it works for single strike Pokemon. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a single strike energy card and attach it to one of your single strike Pokemon. If you do, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. Not really there for the Darkness Fang attack or anything like that, but it does give you energy acceleration specifically to the single strike, which is the new mechanic. Single strike cards can be Pokemon, trainers, or energy, and they did announce that there are going to be future single strike and rapid strike cards released. So as there's more single strike Pokemon released, single strike Roar becomes more and more of a viable ability. And if you think about some of the best decks that have ever been printed, a lot of them rely on some form of energy acceleration. Think ADP. Even though Ultimate Ray is an attack, it can still accelerate energies. This happens to be an ability, based energy acceleration is often quite strong, especially since single strike energy does do extra damage as well. So it's a damage modifier and energy acceleration, different colored type energies, things like that are really good. Looking at Octillery, Rapid Strike Search, making your deck a little bit more consistent, searching your deck for a Rapid Strike card. Again, that could be a Pokemon trainer or energy Rapid Strike card and put it into your hands. So I think it would be great to search out some of the new supporter cards that are coming out in the sets, or maybe even grabbing a Rapid Strike Energy. You could even grab the Rapid Strike Pokemon. I think that both of these cards really kind of start paving the way and being like, we're kind of falling within a new era of Pokemon. They might not necessarily be strong or even played upon set release, but give us a few sets of single strike and rapid strike Pokemon, and both of these cards start looking a lot more viable. So I'm really excited about these cards in general. I hope they print more cards like this going forward. And in general, I'm just kind of excited about it. I think that these cards seem awesome, and it's really a great way for us to kick off our sets. There's a lot of other really great cards that are in the set as well. Continuing on, got Bronzong, and we have Cheryl. So the way that Bronzong works is you can move your metal energies around. And we've seen a few abilities like this before, where you can move things around. It's something that often is strong in the game, just moving energies. Weavile GX has seen some success in both standard and expanded. And there's been other things too that move energies. Like I won the Players Cup 2 with Energy Switch, and that was only 1 energy. So for a metal type deck, Bronzong's just kind of a boosted version of that. Where I added Cheryl, they're not necessarily related here. I do feel like that this combination does create a new archetype. So looking at what Cheryl brings to the table, you can heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon. Now, VMAX Pokemon do count as evolution Pokemon, but the issue is you got to discard all energies from that Pokemon. So Bronzong, you can yeet your energies away from your evolution Pokemon and then heal all that damage. You could also move to like a Zacian V, you move to a Zamazenta V, a Lucario Melmetal GX. There seems like this kind of general combination of cards is going to add a lot to the viability of our game. Just kind of new decks, a new strategy, a new kind of something to go on. So I mean, I think that I really like these cards in general. I'm very excited about them being added into our deck, or into our decks. And it doesn't even have to be moving from a metal type Pokemon. It could be just any Pokemon. You're moving the metal energies. So again, I think that these cards seem pretty cool. Pokemon that they would really work with: Copperaja VMAX, Corviknight VMAX, even Bronzong working in just like in some kind of metal box with Zacian V, Zamazenta V, Aegislash V, cards like that. The same way that we've seen it with Crycephalon and Fire Toolbox type decks. We could kind of have a metal Bronzong type box deck. And whether or not Cheryl is included, Cheryl seems like a really good option to heal Pokemon if they have no energies, if they're evolution Pokemon. So adding a little bit more spice, a little bit more depth into our game. I'm excited about those. One thing that I would like to do, these cards, I do want to say they would have made the top of the list or very close, is the reprinted versions of Escape Rope and Level Ball. I think there's also an Experience Share reprint going on in the sets. And I mean, I think there's another reprint off the top of my head, if I could actually remember here. I think it's Energy Recycler. Yes, Energy Recycler. So there's a handful of past concepts that are getting re-released into our game. Escape Rope being both a gusting, like a half gust, half switch card. I think a lot of decks have just been playing 4 switch going in like that. Is it one of those things where we're going to be cutting down from our 4 switch? I think so. I think adding a little bit of switch plus tier deck, so maybe 2 switch, 2 escape rope, or 3 switch, 2 escape ropes, like you have a little bit more customizable options, right? So I like that as an option for switching cards, that you could change things up depending on what your deck can offer. Level Ball's a great ball card. I know in my last video I mentioned this card. I mentioned that Ball Guy is getting released in Shining Fates. So it's one of those things where I think Level Ball is really cool to our game, probably good for single prize card decks, but at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily see it being a bad card in, let's say, Eternatus VMAX, especially if you're to go with a Ball Guy engine. So, I mean, I really think the sky's the limit, and I mean, I guess 90 HP is the limit, and that's the sky in this case. But it does add some flex spots to some decks that might be able to use it. Maybe it's a little bit of a better card than Quick Ball or Pokemon Communication in those particular decks. Mad Party seems like it benefits the most from Level Ball. So we'll see, maybe that will bring it from a tier 2 deck to a tier 1.5 deck. We'll have to see exactly how it goes, but I am excited about these cards. And while we're at the same thing, I know it's not shown on the slide, Experience Share. When your active Pokemon is knocked out from damage from an opponent's attack, you may move a basic energy card that from those attached to that Pokemon to the card this is attached to. I know that I've played Experience Share in the past. It has seen tournament success. And same thing with Energy Recycler. Shuffling up to 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck is just something that we currently don't have in our format. I think it can be quite good, maybe with Blacephalon. Maybe there's a few other cards that you would play. Either way, I am excited about some of these cards coming out, and I think it's going to be absolutely great for our game. Moving on, I might have pulled the trigger a little bit early on these cards for the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX and for the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. And I'm like, you want to know what? They're both Urshifu. Let's put them on the same slide. So really, with Single Strike Urshifu VMAX and Rapid Strike, we're both looking at their HP. They both got their own stamp of their strike style, which is super cool. Big thing that we're looking for is Single Strike Urshifu VMAX really focuses on that one big attack. So you could read Single Strike, one big attack, all your eggs going into one basket. So you want to get those single strike energies on there. And it's just 270 going through anything. I think it's quite good. One cool thing about this, there is the Single Strike Scroll that you could put on there that gives it a bit of an outrage-based attack. I think that might really make this concept viable. Kind of gives me a fighting Reshiram and Charizard GX type vibe. Then we have the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, where it takes from a lot of cards. This card seems to have a bit of an identity crisis, but it does have Gale Thrust, which we have seen on Golisopod GX. Same thing with like Raichu Alola and Raichu GX. Moving a Pokemon from a bench to the active spot reoccurs in the game quite often. So doing 150 damage for that seems great. Then you have Gmax Rapid Flow doing 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. As long as Mew from Unbroken Bonds isn't in play, I do think Gmax Rapid Flow could be great. Maybe even pairing it with Zigzagoon and Telescopic Scope, being able to snipe Dedenne and Dedenne GX to draw 4 prize cards. The same way that Pikachu and Zekrom GX can go Tag Bolt GX 200, then 170 snipe. Gmax Rapid Flow, albeit a little bit slower, it's one of those things where doing 120, and having the option to do it again, and it does have that double rapid strike energy available to it. Now, it also does have its own scroll, the Whirlpool Scroll. You could do 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. I mean, I don't necessarily know if that's going to fit in day one or ever. Definitely not based off my gut feeling right now, but I'll have to test a little bit more and see exactly how it works. But both of these cards seem like they're going to be pretty good in our metagame right away, adding it looks like right now 2 viable archetypes to our available card pool. And depending on how they get built, I think there's a lot of tech options. There's a lot of deck building things that are going to be cool. So it's not going to be the same cookie cutter for Professor's Research, for Marnie, for Boss, in every single deck. Maybe it will be, but I do think that there are some options, especially when it comes to Octillery, Hound Doom. Do you play the Rapid Strike Scroll? Do you play the Single Strike Scroll? Do you play... There's a lot of cool text that you could add to these decks, and I think that's really what's going to keep players entertained, at least for a few months, until we can come to some sort of consensus. Moving on, we add in the Kricketune V, and you can see I put the Dedenne GX there more or less as a comparison to it, because Kricketune, I think, is going to be one of these new cards. After talking to a lot of my friends about this, I mean, we stay late up all night on these Discord calls. I think that Kricketune V, just being able to be like a Rangaroo from Sun and Moon, allowing you to kind of draw cards until you have 3. And if it's in your active spots, being able to drop to 4 seems cool. 4 cards in your hand, that is. It's really not there for the X's or attack, but just being able to draw cards per turn. Maybe you want to play some extra cards to discard things from your hands, like Quick Ball, things like that, or Giant Hearth. I do think that Stage Elation is going to be a strong ability, maybe not as strong as Dedenne Change, but it does give you quite a few options to just do things in the game. Drawing cards, always good. Kind of a bit of a boring card otherwise, but Dedenne GX is a boring card otherwise. Crobat V is a boring card otherwise. The best cards typically don't end up being the most exciting cards. They end up being the cards that kind of get you there. And I think Kricketune V is one of those cards that can get you there. Only time will tell on this one, especially when it comes to the format, but I do think it is a pretty cool card, and I'm more than hyped to have it on this list, and especially see it coming out in this set. Now, as an additional bit of a bonus card, I did add in one of my personal favorites, Kendra, from this set. Now, if you want to know a fun fact about Zach Lesage, I mean, I'm sure there's definitely some facts about me that may or may not be true, but Kingdra is my favorite Pokemon. I have a Kingdra upper arm tattoo. It's one of my first tattoos that I've had of a tribal Kingdra. I won my first invitation to the World Championships in 2005 or 2006 with Kingdra as well. It starts to get a little bit blurry back there. So the ability Deep Sea King, whenever your active Pokemon is knocked out from your opponent's attacks, you may move all water energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon. So if you put a Mew on your bench, they always have to attack the active for the most part. That means if you collect energy in play, or go attacking with a Kingdra with a lot of energies, you can totally take all those energies and move it to another Kingdra. The way to get energies in play, Frostmoth, of course, really working well to attach energies to a Kingdra, because it is a water type Pokemon, working with water energies, and its attack Aqua Burst is 40 damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So you can basically load up a Kingdra, attach a bunch of energies to it, attack, they knock it out, you move it to another Kingdra. As long as you're able to set up Kingdras I think that this deck's going to be really good in general, playing cards like Rosa, playing cards like, there's a lot of things that you could just play. And 40 times, if you have like, how many energies would you even need? 8 energies would be doing 320, 9 energies would be doing 360. I mean, you could knock out most, if not all, Pokemon in the game with only a few energies. And if you think about it, similar Pokemon like Lapras VMAX have no problem putting 6, 7, 8 energies on it, and they'll lose the energies after they get knocked out. So I honestly think that Kendra is quite good in this format. Maybe not necessarily enough to make the top 5 list, but definitely as an honorable mention here. I think this could be quite cool. I do like this a lot as an honorable mention in this set. And moving on, what do you think made the top of the list? For me, this might be a little bit of surprise to some, but I did put Bruno and Karina's Motivation. Now, when I was talking to my friends, they were like, Zach, honestly, there's so much better cards in the set than this. And you want to know what? They might be right. I know that we've been playing with Professor's Research, Marnie, all these types of supporter cards for a while. We haven't had a lot of true things. So Marnie is not a true shuffle draw supporter because you're not shuffling. You're shuffling your cards and placing them at the bottom of your deck. But the big thing about Marnie is it's not shuffling those cards in your deck. You can't draw those cards back in any particular order. So if you shuffle with Bruno, you could shuffle your deck or your hand into your deck. You can draw 4 cards. And if any of your Pokemon were knocked out, you draw 7 cards. So a spiritual reprint of Cynthia's Feelings or Cynthia's Guidance. I always get those two mixed up. It would shuffle and draw till 8s if one of your Pokemon were knocked out. This seems like a great way to just kind of draw in some more cards. It is searchable if there is anything in the future for a single strike Pokemon. Same way as Karina's Motivation here is searchable by the Octillery already. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's so cool, because they both have these stamps. So in the future, if there's a card, an item card that kind of works with it, both of these cards seem incredibly viable. Karina's draw straight up until you have 6 cards in your hand. I think it's a great way to search it out with Octillery. I think there's going to be Octillery, Rapid Strike, Karina's Motivation engines. Even in non-Rapid Strike decks, just being able to search out particular cards can be great, and then you can kind of focus on other techs. But there's currently no other deck that I know of that searches out supporters every single turn. So just kind of having that option in Standard seems great. So I'm excited about a little bit more of a variety of supporters that are available in this set, that are coming out in this set. So I think that these are really great to put at the top of the list. Maybe if you wanted to shift everything down one, that'd be cool. But I think that these are pretty cool cards to add in to our metagame, and I'm very excited for when they come out, when BattleStyles is released. Maybe again, they might not be played day 1, but I'm looking more like future forward looking. I think both of these cards could be fairly good, unless of course we get better supporter cards. Well, that's where we ended with. Hopefully you all enjoyed that video. I mean, did I miss any of the cards? I'm sure there's got to be a lot of great cards that I probably could have put on this list. Let me know if you have your own personal top 5 in the comments below. I do get back to comments fairly quickly. At least I try to. So I mean, I'm more than excited to hear about your cards. Maybe you're like, Zach, I have a case for this one. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Again, if you are looking for any of these codes or any of the ways to get these cards online, go to ptcgostore.com, plug in code ZLassage5, and that will definitely get you some of those amazing BattleStyles cards. So I mean, I'm excited when the set release. I think it's going to be a cool set. There's a lot of cool cards in this set, so definitely got to try out a lot of these concepts. And then of course I'll be posting them on the channel and let you know what the findings are. I mean, I think over here in Canada, we're on lockdown for what seems like the foreseeable forever. So I mean, that gives me a lot of extra time to create content for all of y'all. So again, if you haven't hit subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for all the support on the channel. I gotta go create some more content, and have yourself a great day. Peace out. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you haven't already, it'd mean the world to me if you could subscribe to help support me as a content creator. Thanks again, and have yourself a great one.